Intros are gay, so let's just start the video.
We're making murderers famous. They kill a bunch of kids and get on all the front pages.
This is probably the truest thing this jackass will say throughout the entire video. But he's exactly right here. We make all of our shooters famous. Once the shooting takes place, it's a rush between the news stations to find out who the shooter is, so they can plaster it everywhere and make them infamous. That's the problem. These shooters want to be infamous. That's why they do what they do. And you oblige them. You allow them to be famous. You reward them for their slaughter. It's ridiculous. What should happen is the news stations need a little bit of responsibility. They need to not post the shooter's name on the news stations. Yeah, make that information, searchable on Google, but don't freaking plaster it all over and make them infamous. Make that information kind of hard to find. Don't just shove it down everybody's throats with the freaking shiny silver plate. Because if you do that, you're doing exactly what the shooter wants. You're making him infamous.
I don't know none of the victims. I know the guns in the system promote the ones who are dangerous. It's become entertainment. We got t-shirts and posters covered in murderers' faces.
Wow, you're actually saying that villains in movies and video games are essentially damaging because they encourage this behavior. That's stupid. What are we going to do? Get rid of movies and video games and all forms of entertainment? Because most stories have villains. So what you're essentially saying here is get rid of entertainment. That's just ridiculous. I don't think that's a real solution.
We got movies getting made portraying killers as saviors and parents leaving kids alone at home with guns in the basement.
In most of those movies, the trained killer is acting as self-defense, so there's nothing wrong with it. And having guns in the basement is one of the safest places where you could put them, especially if they're locked up in a safe.
Would you pull me from a burning car, run to get your phone so you can film me yelling World Star?
What? That has nothing to do with guns.
A gun don't make a soldier with a purple heart. A gun cannot protect us if we don't know where our morals are.
What does that even mean?
Students fill the classes and the graves, and you claim it's a conspiracy to take your guns away. All the while the family's torn apart and trying to ask why their son deserved to die at his desk in his class.
You're a moron. I mean, I legit mean that. This is literally what you think. This is how dumb you are. You think if we ban guns or regulate them to death where like nobody could get them, you think that the killer will just become a law-abiding citizen. That is a freaking joke, right? I mean, you gotta be kidding me, man. You ban the tool, it doesn't make the killer disappear. He still exists. In fact, he'll just use a different tool. And not a single life will be saved. Matter of fact, guns are not even the most effective way of killing people in masses. A truck in Nice, France killed 86 people. 86 people! That's more than anyone has ever been killed in a mass shooting. Not to mention that box cutters killed 3,000 people on 9/11. Box cutters! The tool doesn't matter. You ban guns or regulate them to death. The shooter will now just be a homicidal maniac in a car. He'll wait until school's out to run over people at a crosswalk. That's how you'll find his victims. As if that's any better than shooting them in class. Not a single life will be saved. Not a single one. All you'd be doing is ruining people's right to self-defense, which would stop the situation. That's the only thing that could save people is self-defense, and you want to get rid of that. As well as getting rid of people's liberties. And for what? Nothing?
We don't want a politician making money off the bullet holes. They're digging our graves, the home of the brave has gone up in flames.
These politicians aren't pro-Second Amendment because of the NRA money. They're pro-Second Amendment because they've always been pro-Second Amendment. The NRA money just helps them run for office and to help get pro-gun laws passed, which they believe in. They're not what you pretend. You pretend like every politician is a left-winger who thinks guns are icky, but they take the NRA money and pass pro-Second Amendment laws because, because fuck kids and they just care about money. That's not what's happening. Everybody that's accepting NRA money already believe in the Second Amendment. You're a liar and fearmongerer.
About the system, we're not doing what we're told. The land of the free is armed to the teeth, American dreams.
Well, that does make sense that the land of the free would be armed to the teeth because they're free to do as they want. They're not slaves to the government.
distracted by free porn and compilation videos of puppies and kittens.
What do you got against free porn, faggot?
While our children use the internet to bully one another and then purchase ammunition.
What do those two things have to do with each other? Your raps suck.
So addicted to your phone that you ignore the kids and never give them any supervision. So they learn to build Obama things you keep inside your kitchen, and you wonder how they ended up with life inside a prison.
He's right. Raise your kids right, people.
We mourn a dead gorilla, but don't care when it's a person. We're forgetting that we're human. We're angry to chickens of being locked up in cages, and then forget we do the same to kids in our institutions. When they ask you about stupid, you tell them they should Google it, then wonder why the troubled youth are homicidal lunatics.
Oh my sides! Oh my sides! Yeah. Google search engine is why we have killers, folks.
You think it's tragic when a shooter kill a student, but then say it's all a plan for them to change the Constitution.
Okay, even if you change the Constitution and ban guns, criminals will still get guns off the black market. Drugs are banned and they're on every street corner. The same thing will happen with drugs, you moron. The only difference is good guys won't be able to get them. The only people that would be able to get AK-47s and AR-15s with 60-round drums, 100-round drums, is the criminals, while the good guys have nothing. They have nothing to defend themselves with. It sounds like you're on the road to get people killed. And for what? To ruin liberty? Those are two bad things. Look, there's 300,000 violent crimes a year in the United States using firearms. But that's nothing compared to the fact there's 700,000 to 3 million violent crimes prevented with firearms every year in America. That's way more lives saved with firearms than taken away. Also, there's 91 gun deaths a day in America. People try to pretend that's gun murder. Most of that's suicides. If you remove the suicides, it's 32 gun homicides. Gun homicides don't mean murder. Gun homicides mean that people died using firearms. That's all it means. So that includes self-defense cases. You remove the self-defense cases, there is 10 gun murders a day in America. So I bet there's a lot less people dying by firearms than you thought. 1997 was right in the middle of the assault weapons ban that banned all assault rifles and 30-round magazines. Since we unbanned and brought back assault rifles and 30-round magazines, crime rate with guns has dropped by over 51%. So assault rifles, which I call defense rifles, don't make us less safe, but more safe. If you guys like this video, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell button too. Nobody hits the bell button, so no one's watching my videos. Hit the damn bell button, you bitch. Catch you guys on the next episode.